So, you've spent months, maybe even years, building the perfect app. Every line of code, every pixel is just right. But what about its name? Choosing and reserving the right name isn't just a fun, creative task. It's one of the biggest strategic moves you're going to make. And to really get why this matters so much, let's start with this number. Over 3.5 million. That's how many other apps are sitting on the Google Play Store right now, all competing for eyeballs. And if you add in the 1.6 million on Apple's App Store, well, you're looking at a universe of over 5 million apps. The competition isn't just fierce, it's practically invisible. And that leads us to the one question every single developer has to face. In this massive, totally crowded sea of apps, what's going to make someone stop and look at yours? How do you even begin to stand out? A huge part of that answer starts and ends with its name. So why all this pressure on a name? Because it's so much more than just a label you slap on your icon. It's the entire foundation of your app's identity. It's your very first handshake with a potential user. A really great name does 4 things at once. First, it's your first impression, that split-second hook that grabs someone. Second, it builds your whole brand identity, the thing people will actually remember. It should also shout your app's purpose from the rooftops. Think Google Maps, right? There's zero confusion about what that does. And, this is a big one, it seriously boosts your App Store optimization, or ASO, helping you climb those all-important search rankings. Okay, so what are the magic ingredients that make a name truly great? Because not all names are created equal, that's for sure. But the ones that really succeed, they all share a few key qualities. Here are the do's you want to stick to. Your name needs to be creative and distinctive enough to be memorable, but also super easy to remember, say, and spell. You want it to be descriptive, giving people a clue about what your app actually does. Keep it short and punchy. We'll get to the character limits in a bit. And most importantly, make sure it actually connects and aligns with your target audience. Of course, knowing what to do is only half the battle. Just as important is knowing what not to do. Trust me, there are a bunch of common pitfalls that can totally torpedo an app's potential before it even launches. You have to avoid these mistakes. Using a trademarked name, that's a surefire way to get a nasty letter from a lawyer. Forgetting to check if the domain or social media handles are available, that just creates a messy, fractured brand. Being too generic makes you completely invisible. But the single biggest mistake you can make is skipping user feedback. Never just assume you know what will click with people. So you've found the perfect name. Now what? How do you actually claim it? Well, the rules of the road are different for each of the big platforms, and you absolutely need to know them to protect your brand. Before we dive into the differences, here's the one number that unites both app stores: 30. That's it. Both Apple and Google limit your app's title to just 30 characters. It forces you to be clever, concise, and impactful. Every single letter counts. And here's where we see a huge difference in strategy between the two. The Google Play Store is kind of like the Wild West. You only claim your name when you hit publish. And get this, multiple apps can have the exact same name. It's wild. Apple, on the other hand, is way stricter. They demand that every name is unique. And this is the key takeaway. They let you reserve your name before your app is even finished. So if you're launching on iOS, reserving your name is actually pretty straightforward. First, you've got to enroll in the Apple Developer Program. Once you're in, you just log into App Store Connect, head over to My Apps, and click to create a new one. All you have to do is enter your chosen name and a few basic details, and boom, that name is yours. It's safe and sound while you finish up development. All right, we've covered the why, the what, and the how. Let's pull it all together into one final checklist to run through before you lock in that name for good. Think of this as your final sanity check. Have you brainstormed names that actually reflect what your app does? Have you done a deep dive to check for trademarks? Are the matching domain and social media handles available so you can build a consistent brand? Have you actually tested your top choices with real people? And have you checked how the name physically looks on different phone screens? If you can say yes to all of these, you're in a great spot. When it comes right down to it, it's all about this. Your app's name isn't just a handful of letters. It's a powerful, valuable asset. It is the hook that helps people find you, the handle they use to remember you, and really, it's the very first step in building a brand that they can trust. The code is written, the design is polished, your app is ready for the world. But before you hit that publish button, just ask yourself one last, really critical question. Is your name unforgettable?